What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Vino Show. Today, we wanted to have a sit down with you guys and tell you about how we first met. How does it happen? How does Black gay love happen to regular people in the world? It's tough. Tough to meet somebody. Wouldn't you say? So before we get into that, make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, and click the notification bell so that you get notified every time we drop a brand new video.
Absolutely. It's gonna be a good one.
Cheers. 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 So thirsty. Literally so thirsty to take a sip.
How did we meet?
Well, how do people meet in our community, in the gay community? Especially if you're living from a place like me, from Detroit, Michigan, that does not have a very active and burgeoning gay community. I mean, there's gay people everywhere all over the world, but you know, and back in my day, we barely had Twitter, Tinder, Jack been around for a long time, Grindr. But these are some of the ways that people meet.
I feel like if I lived in Michigan, I would have kept a man. Just like I kept a man in Atlanta, in Orlando, in Fort Lauderdale.
Those are big cities though.
I'm just saying.
That's just different. I'm not talking about Orlando and
I feel like the dating scene
in Atlanta. Of course you keep a man in Atlanta.
I feel like the dating scene in general is what you make it.
No, it's not. It's out on Jack. There were plenty of men hitting me up. You so fine. You so beautiful. Da, 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 da.
What's wrong with that?
I wasn't interested in none of them men.
Because they were on Jack.
No, because I wasn't interested in them.
You didn't even meet them.
I met a couple of them.
And they weren't interesting enough.
They were not dating material. They were not husband material,
that's
boyfriend
fine.
material.
You would have kept on going. Maybe you would have found somebody.
Well, I did a couple of times, and both times the person was closeted, DL, toxic, avoidant type personality. And we have a big DL culture in Detroit. Sure, there's plenty of guys that are gay, but are they openly gay? Is there a burgeoning, active gay community in a city? Yeah, it can be difficult to date and to find people. And honestly, most, if not all of the relationships that I've had that were real, I did not meet them on an app.
Okay.
But there's no shade to the people who do.
Girl, the shade of it all.
If that was success to you, that's fantastic. I think it's great. I think the technology is great that you now can meet people close by to you. I wish I had that 15 years ago.
Well, my longest relationship was from someone from the app. It didn't turn out the way it should have turned out, but yeah.
Yeah. Well, speaking of meeting in person, we met in person.
We did meet in person
At
Sprint. Now
T-Mobile.
And I still have the employee discount.
I still have the employee discount.
Okay, so we are proud T-Mobile users, and this video is not sponsored by them. So I was coming off the heels of being a flight attendant / realtor. Realized that realtor made bigger money. So in order to transition into real estate full time, I took a job locally in 2019, end of 2019. And then this guy came along in 2020, top of 2020, before the pandemonium.
I was coming from Michigan. I had a great cushy job at Rock Connections in downtown Detroit, and I was making my money, but I was sad. I didn't have love. I didn't feel like my life was really going anywhere.
Aren't you going through a bad breakup?
I was in a situationship. That was a big catalyst to make me be like, F it, I'm leaving. I'm gonna go do that Atlanta thing that I've always wanted to do. And you know, I noticed all of the things happening out here in Atlanta with the Gentleman's Ball and the Gentleman's Foundation with Juan and G, on which I attended in 2015, and packed up all my stuff in my car and drove 12 hours to Georgia at the hopes of getting a life. And did not have a job, okay? Didn't have a job. My mom was like, you have to go there with no job. I'm like,
I remember the first day Val came to the store, or I noticed Val, and he was running off to the back, and then he caught me, and then he looked at me up and down, and then he ran to the back. I was like, who is this little boy? And then finally got a chance to talk to him, see what he was about, what's tea, and he shared with me he was from Michigan, that he enjoyed music, and I thought he was a very intriguing guy. He was just very interesting, this mysterious, interesting. He had this little spray he would spray. He would go out and just spray this little spray, and then turns out it was a spray that he made. I thought that was just intriguing. I wanted to know a little bit more about him. So I took him under my wing and showed him around Atlanta, the staples that I really enjoyed in Atlanta when Atlanta was really a vibe. But I swear Atlanta has changed so much even since the pandemic. But we did get a little piece of Joe's when it was rest in peace.
well, my perspective, rest in peace to Joe's, but I came to the store, and this man was not on my radar. I saw him out the corner of my eye, but I'm like...
That's what I just described.
He was, I don't know if we were always working the same shifts or not, but he would come in, and I would see him, and he would be in the corner talking to one of our little co-workers and not talking to me like that.
That's
so
not even true.
Well, maybe he don't really want to be friends with me or like nothing like that. And it was a while before we actually even connected. I think it was maybe a few months, maybe 3 or 4 months. It was.
No.
And it was during a staff meeting. And then you were like, yeah, have you heard of the Beltline? And I was like, yeah. No, I was like, no, I haven't heard of the Beltline. He did finally come talk to me. He was weird though. Angelo was weird. But like when we hung, he finally came up to me and basically asked me to go walk around the Beltline. But I didn't know he liked me or nothing like that. I didn't like him or nothing like that. I didn't like him. I just thought he was intriguing. Okay. And I wanted to hang out. Okay. I'm a nice person. I liked to go out at the time. I was single. I'm England. I'm like, whatever. It wasn't nothing. I don't start liking somebody until I get to know them. Then. So it was after the first time we hung out. That's when you started to like me. No. I got to get to know you a little bit. So we were on the Beltline, and I'm just telling him about all these things about me and my life, and talking about my type and the type of guys I like and whatever he likes, and you know, I don't know. I'm clueless, you know. But then we started talking about my business, the 100 brand. And he was, you know, had all these great ideas and telling me how I needed to open an LLC and how I needed to do this, that, and the other. And I'm like, okay. So, like, he was just really smart and resourceful.
Still am.
And adding value to my life. And, you know, that's what y'all need to do. If you like a boy, you need to add value to his life. You know, you need to be a resource. You need to be more than just a pretty face, a cute guy. Like, you need to bring value to that man. And that's what he did for me.
Yes.
Okay. So, yeah. And after that, we subsequently just basically started hanging out every day.
Yeah, every day.
Talking on the phone.
On the phone, FaceTime.
every
in
day.
the morning when you wake up.
Not in the morning.
Then we started to go over each other's home. Well, mostly his home because I lived too far.
And tomorrow. Who going tomorrow?
Anyway, I didn't have a problem going to his place. Went to his place, watched movies. He is, okay, Val. One thing about Val, he is very particular about his space. And you can tell when you go into his room that it's curated for just him. You better not dare touch his bed. Don't even look at his bed. Don't look at his bed. I would say take your shoes off too, right?
Yeah.
Take your shoes off, like, very, like, this is my space, don't get it twisted. Like, don't get too comfortable. But then I started to notice as we hang out a little bit more, he would allow me to get a little bit more comfortable. And that's when I started to really start to like him a lot, because it was like he was creating space for me in his life.
Wow.
Right?
Mm-hmm. Made space for him because, I mean, I liked him. We were, it was very easy to be around him. It's very easy to be around each other. Like,
We clicked like that.
yeah, like it wasn't awkward. It wasn't weird.
And he asked me first, so
I don't know.
he asked me.
That's true. It kind of just felt like a natural progression. Like, I'm like, I think it's time for that. But then I immediately got terrified and scared, and I was like, never mind. And then the next day I was like, no, we're together.
Oh my God. The anxiety.
I think we may have covered how we met.
Touche.
And we'll just leave it at that. So thanks for watching. Hope you liked it. We're going to end this video before our camera dies.
Exactly.